Hey, Utah fans, SC fans, for those of you who might be catching this, man, I was just doing a little analysis on trying to compare our teams, see where they're both at relative to, the offenses and defenses and whatnot, and I don't think you could get much more similar as far as the stats are concerned. Now, as far as the records are concerned, USC is 6-0. And Utah's 4-2, unfortunately. That all but puts us out of the CFP conversation unless all heck breaks loose. So we're going to have a little bit of fun talking some stats, and come on back and join the chat. I want to hear you guys chime in. After you hit that subscribe button, that is, and the like button as well. I appreciate all of that. I'm 8 subscribers away from 200. So if you could hook a brother up, come on now, hook a brother up and hit that subscribe button. Yeah. Alrighty, we'll be back right after this, and we're going to talk some stats and let you know how close these two teams really are, at least on paper.
For a first down. Nice. That's the shot I'm talking about. There it is. Over the middle. It's caught. Touchdown. Devon Valet. That's beautiful, man.
I get Carlson a touch on the block. Carlson from deep, and we're tied.
A win. This is a victory lap of sorts for the Super Senior.
Ginormous double out.
All right, we are back, and let's just jump right into this. So I'm checking out all the stats, and USC. Let's break it down by position group first of all. It's all offense, for the most part. Caleb Williams, he's 122 for 188, 64.9% completion percentage. He's thrown for 1,590 yards, which is 265 yards a game. Let's see, Cam, I did not see, that's the one thing I didn't write down. Look at that. I did not write down how many yards per game Cam threw, but it's like 1,500 and something. Excuse me, 1,440. The total passing yards for Utah was 1,500 and something. So Williams is 265 a game. Cam's at 69% and at 1,440. That's the other thing I missed. Hang on, calculator is right here. 1,440 divided by 6. 240. So he's about 25 yards a game less than Caleb Williams. And so little disparity there, not huge. Cam's completion percentage is 69%, whereas Williams, like I said, 64.9%. So a little over 4% less than Cam. Now, here's where there's another disparity. Well, first of all, 2,771 total offensive yards for USC, 2,747 yards for Utah. That's 24 yards difference in offense total, which over a 6-game period is 4 yards per game. Pretty similar. Let's look at the running back situation. Their total yards on the ground, USC's, is 1,100. Utah relies a little bit more on the run, whereas SC's a little bit skewed more toward the pass, at least in terms of yardage production that way. So Utah has 1,209 rushing yards. They're averaging 201.5 yards a game, whereas USC's averaging 183.33 yards per game. So we've got them beat by roughly 18, a little over 18, like 18.16 yards per game. Now, they have 5 receivers over 100 plus yards. You know, you'd expect that from a passing team. Any guess how many receivers Utah has over 100 yards? Come on. Nope. Guess again. 6! Can you believe that? We've got more receivers with over 100 yards receiving than USC does. We just don't have, Jordan Addison is their leading receiver with 479 yards, whereas Devon Vele is our leading receiver with 356 yards, so about 123 yards less than Jordan Addison. Addison has, I believe, 6 TDs, and he's averaging 15 yards a catch, whereas Vele has, 3 TDs and is averaging 13.2 yards a catch. So not as much production in terms of scoring. By the way, did I mention that we have 242 points on the season, which is just under 40.3 points a game? And they have 241 points on the season. 1 point less than we do. 1. And they are averaging 40.16 points per game. So, yeah, kind of crazy how close that is. I mean, everything you look at, one place where they definitely are better is, even though they don't have quite as many rushing yards as we do total, you look at Travis Dye, he's got 571 yards on the season, averaging 6.3 yards a carry, whereas Tavion Thomas has 386 yards, averaging 4.5 yards a carry. So they're creating some bigger holes. Jones is their second running back in terms of yardage, and he's got 213 yards, averaging 6.9 yards a carry. So that's 0.6 yards a carry, even more than Travis Dye. So they're doing all right. Now Williams, the quarterback, is their 3rd leading rusher with 178 yards, but he's only averaging 3.4 yards a carry, whereas Cam is our 2nd leading rusher. He's got 248 yards. That's about 70 yards more than Williams, and Cam's averaging 6.9 yards a carry. So we beat them in a few areas, like with 6 wide receivers over 100 yards, and they beat us. They're a little more efficient than we are, which is kind of one of my gripes. If you watched my last video, I'll link it in the comment section. Video I put out on Monday evening, talking about the UCLA game. Not a good memory, not a good experience overall, and our defense just didn't show up. Now, speaking of defense, I believe they lead the nation in sacks. So we are going to have to do, our offensive line is going to have to do some great pass blocking, hopefully also some good run blocking. We'll probably, they don't necessarily have to blitz. Number 49, Tui Pelotu, leads the nation in sacks, 7. He's averaging by himself over 1 sack per game. Let's see. You've got one of their linebackers is averaging, so Gentry, their linebacker, leads the team in tackles at 29. Now, here's the sad part for Utah is that R.J. Hubert, having a great season, has had a couple of great interceptions, including a pick 6. And unfortunately, he leads the team in tackles, 39. He's a free safety. He's not the strong safety. Cole Bishop is the strong safety. You would think strong safety is probably going to have more tackles than the free safety. Now, granted, a lot of Hubert's tackles are probably in the secondary, helping out receivers and whatnot. Unfortunately, a lot of them are in the secondary. When running backs get through our defensive and our defensive line and our linebackers. So yeah, it's you don't really want to see the safety being your leading tackler. Yeah, so not all of Hubert's tackles are, all the way back at the third level. He made a great play on Dorian Thompson-Robinson to either stop him at the line of scrimmage or maybe even have a loss of a yard or two in that game last Saturday. But that stop was the last time we actually stopped him, other than Clark Phillips' interception and the one, I think they missed a field goal, and so anyway, I don't want to dwell on that kind of negativity. No negativity, all positive thoughts. What are you guys thinking? What do you think the outcome of the game is going to be? They're both averaging just a hair over 40 points a game. Is this going to be an offensive shootout, or are the defenses going to show up? Now, Utah's given up 19 points a game after giving up 42 this last Saturday to UCLA. So 19 points a game isn't bad. We've talked about Oregon State and how they had 401 yards against us and only scored 16. That's because we had 2 interceptions in the end zone. Unfortunately, we left receivers wide open with UCLA. We didn't have the same kind of coverage on that. UCLA was a little more creative with their patterns and whatnot, doing some pick kind of things and such. So there's that. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on, one, we got the score challenge going on again. Nobody won it last week because nobody picked UCLA to win. I appreciate the confidence in Utah, and I want to see what kind of confidence you have. Is your confidence crushed because we lost? Or are you going to say, you know what? It's a blackout game / dark mode game. It's at home. Utah is going to, the crowd's going to rally around Utah, and Utah is going to come out fired up. They're going to make adjustments that are going to really help out their success on defense, hopefully at all of the levels, where we maybe get some pressure on the QB, get a couple of sacks, get some TFLs just from our defensive line, but also from some linebackers who are shooting the gaps, and then maybe cause a couple of turnovers, maybe a fumble or two, maybe an interception or two. Maybe they test Clark Phillips out, and Clark is just on his game, ready to go. So tell me, what do you think the score is going to be? Who's going to stand out for Utah other than Cam? We know Cam is going to have a heck of a game. He always does. Even if he flubs up and proves that he's human on occasion, he's going to play well. I'm confident in that. I'm really starting to develop a lot of confidence in some of our receivers, especially Vele, but I'm getting very confident in some of our other receivers. Always love Kincaid. I think he'll do well. What do you think about Thomas? Do you think Tavion is going to come back and have 2 good weeks in a row, maybe even do a little better this week? I'd love to hear all your thoughts on that kind of thing. And so here we go. I'm going to say, I'm going to have faith that we're inspired. We're ticked after that loss to UCLA. We know how bad we played, how many yards after the contact for running backs and maybe even for some receivers, but how many yards after the catch for the receivers. I can't remember the guy's name, but the one that had the 70-yard touchdown pass, it was a 2-yard pass, across the line of scrimmage. That was 68 yards after the catch. It's a pretty good yak right there. So we're going to go, I'm going to say we're inspired. You tell me who your key players are going to be, both offensive and defensively. I think on defense we're going to have, I think Tafuna's going to get the line fired up and he's going to have a good game. I think Cole Bishop, I think Cole's been a little on the quiet side lately. I think Cole's going to step up and have a good game. And I think one of the linebackers is going to, maybe come through. Maybe Mo. who knows? Maybe Barton will get a few more snaps. He had 17 snaps last game and didn't record a tackle or anything. Maybe he'll show up in practice this week a little more and earn a little more time. I don't know. And I think Tavion's gonna show up and maybe break 100 yards this game. I'm hoping. Who knows? Who knows? So I'm gonna say in a kind of medium-oriented offensive game that Utah is gonna win. I think they get 4 touchdowns and 2 field goals. I think they're gonna win 34. Let's do the classic BYU score, 34-31. There it is. You heard it right here on the Utah Sports Report. And for that great tip I just gave you, don't go bet on that. Like and subscribe. I want to hear your comments down below. Hear them. I want to see them relative to all the things I just talked about. I hope you're at the game. If you are, take some video, take some photographs, share them on the Instagram, on the IG, share them on Twitter, and tag me in those things. I'm on there. I'd love to see what you're experiencing at the stadium. I will be there with a lot of family and a few friends. And okay, just all family except for the other 51,000 friends who are all Utah supporters, well, maybe minus a couple of hundred SC supporters at the game. So there we go. I hope to see you there. 6 o'clock. Remember, it's dark mode. So wear your black. Let's go and go Utes.